It feels great to feel at home outside of home, right? I'm Jamal McKinney with the latest.
Student parents face a unique set of obstacles when it comes to completing their education, and we want to make sure that they feel seen and feel supported.
Help this holiday. I'm Grace Powell with this week's Rocket Resource.
It was really unusual. We've never seen the bloom going this late into the fall.
A new problem and a new solution. I'm Crystal Clark with the latest on what's been happening in Lake Erie.
UT10 News starts now. What's in the water? You may remember the water crisis of 2014, where we were told that tap water was so dangerous we couldn't even brush our teeth with it.
That was caused by out-of-control algae blooms in Lake Erie. This usually happens in the summer, but UT10's Crystal Clark joins us now live with a disturbing development in the fight to keep our water clean. Crystal, what's happening in our lake?
Well, unseasonably warm weather this fall has caused unusual algae activity in Lake Erie, and as researchers warn, this may become the norm. Despite the calming sounds of waves, the state of water quality in Lake Erie has caused a headache for years. In fact, a new problem may be arising too. Normally, when the weather begins to cool down and it's time for us to put on our winter jackets, the water begins to clear. But despite what the water looks like behind me at the moment, that hasn't quite been the case this year.
Looks like one harmful algal bloom this summer, but it was really two. And this second species came in September and grew all through October and into November. So that was really unusual.
Bridgman says the bright sunlight we've experienced this fall is likely the cause. Another reason for the continuing blooms could be climate change, according to a new study released by the University of Michigan. The levels of phosphorus in the water has risen steadily over the years, even with extensive management efforts in the area.
When we get too much phosphorus, it's too concentrated, then that promotes the growth of this other unhelpful, harmful algae.
The authors concluded the potential cause is an increase of temperatures and rain levels.
There's definitely climate effects on Lake Erie.
Agricultural runoff into the Maumee River is a major contributor to the algae blooms in the lake. Governor DeWine's H2O Ohio water quality program has just been renewed for another 4 years. According to H2O Ohio, the program looks to expand wetlands, offer farmers money to curb runoff, and upgrade Ohio's general water infrastructure. Close to $85 million is being invested per year. Directors say they're pleased with the progress, but opponents worry it won't be enough. The Ohio EPA agreed to reduce phosphorus pollution in Lake Erie by 40% by 2025.
A nonprofit environmental group and county's commissioner sued EPA for not adequately protecting the water. The lawsuit settlement arrangements are open for public comment until December 12th. To view a copy of this document, head to ut10news.com. Now let's take a look at some stories making headlines across the world. Moldova experienced major power outages for Russian missile attack on Ukrainian energy systems. According to the Associated Press, missiles targeted a major power line that sends energy through the nation. The line was not damaged, but disconnected for safety measures and turned back on. The war in Ukraine is affecting neighboring countries like Moldova and Romania more heavily as they all begin to face a serious energy crisis. Completely anonymous British street artist Banksy has confirmed 7 new works in Ukraine. Speculation that he was in Ukraine began last week when 3 new murals showed up in the areas hit hardest by Russian brutality. Banksy is known for his political statements, selling a piece at auction once for $1.4 million, only for it to be self-destructed once purchased. In March, a print of C and D soldiers, which appeared in the 2003 protest against the war in Iraq, outside the House of Parliament in London, sold for $100,000 to support a children's hospital in Ukraine's capital. Now moving closer to home, Sydney shows us stories making headlines across America.
You may not feel it yet, but experts say inflation pressures in the U.S. are easing. According to the Associated Press, wholesale prices are increasing, but at slower rates. The Producer Price Index, which measures costs before they reach consumers, reported lower than economists expected and makes it more likely that the Federal Reserve will increase interest rates in smaller increments in the future. According to CNN, the 22-year-old former football player and University of Virginia student suspected of killing 3 football players and wounding 2 others late Sunday faced school disciplinary action after UVA learned he didn't disclose a misdemeanor concealed weapons conviction last year. Students leave the University of Idaho in large numbers after confusing updates follow the discovery of 4 murdered students on Sunday. Police say the killer or killers are still at large, but there is no public threat. They also stated it is a crime of passion with an unknown motive, but it's not a murder-suicide. According to the AP, the county prosecutor said that he understands police claims seem contradictory, but he elaborated no further. So many students fled campus that the candlelight vigil scheduled for Monday was moved to after Thanksgiving break. As anticipated, Donald Trump announced that he will once again run for president in an announcement from Mar-a-Lago this week. He hopes to be the nation's second president to serve non-consecutive terms.
The holidays are fast approaching, which is exciting, but often stressful, especially for students who are also parents. This week, Grace Powell's Rocket Resource is here to help Santa's helpers.
Student parents face a unique set of obstacles when it comes to completing their education, and we want to make sure that they feel seen and feel supported by the university, and especially the Eberly Center.
The Eberly Center is currently hosting their second annual toy drive for UToledo student parents. After a successful first year,
We collected over 400 toys, and we were able to get them into over 173 kids' hands for the holiday season.
they're hoping to make even more kids smile the second time around. Donation bins are located in 9 different places across Maine and Health Science campuses, including the Eberly Center, the first floor of the library, and just inside Health and Human Services.
We've had some great donations coming in. We're excited to get more. We hope that a lot of people do some Black Friday shopping for us.
The last day to donate or register your family to receive gifts is November 30th. At the University of Toledo, I'm Grace Powell, UT10 News.
For all the toy drive registration and donation details and a full list of student parent resources on campus, visit our website, ut10news.com. Now let's send it over to Jaman with this week's UT10 Sports Report.
I'm Jamal McKinney, and this is your UT10 Sports Report. The 87th edition of the Rockets versus the Falcons played out in front of a packed Glass Bowl crowd on Tuesday. This contest was not disappointing. Bowling Green drew first blood and looked like they would completely pull away with this one, taking a commanding 21-0 lead early in the second quarter. However, the Rockets, behind a juiced-up crowd, simply would not quit. Tucker Gleason, who we later found out battled through the contest with a broken hand, got the start at quarterback and helped Toledo take the lead with less than a minute to go in the fourth quarter. But unfortunately, it was not quite the Rockets' night, as Bowling Green found the end zone with less than 20 seconds to spare, winning a classic battle of I-75, 42-35. After the game, head coach Jason Candle shared his thoughts on the close loss, where the Rockets will go from here.
But we can't be sitting around and worried about a MAC championship. No one's going to sit here and hand us a ring and want to be another diamond on somebody's ring. We got to go win football games here and got to go play this week against Western.
The Rockets wrap up the regular season next Friday at Western Michigan, then head to Ford Field December 3rd to take on the East Division champs in the MAC championship game. Lots of sports going on all over Rocket Nation. Women's basketball was in Cincinnati Wednesday afternoon taking on the Bearcats. It took overtime, but the Rockets prevailed, winning 74-71. Quenisha Lockett would finish with a game-high 19 points for Toledo in the victory. And women's cross country makes its first trip to the NCAA championships on Saturday. It goes down at the OSU cross country course in Stillwater, Oklahoma. A big congratulations to the coaching staff and everyone on the team, including UT10's own Crystal Clark. Let's now shift to some hockey. Our UT10 Zeke Fravor had the opportunity to sit down with Toledo Walleye broadcaster Matt Melzak to see how life works as a professional broadcaster. Zeke?
Many people know Matt Melzak as the voice of the Toledo Walleye. What they don't know is just how much work he puts in on game day. There aren't many days off for Matt Melzak. During spring and summer, he works for the Toledo Mudhens alongside Jim Weber. As the seasons turn colder, Melzak shifts gears to his winter job, calling games for the Toledo Walleye. This year, he enters his 17th season as the voice of Toledo hockey, a career that has spanned both the Toledo Storm and Walleye. Throughout his 17-year career, Melzak has had multiple opportunities to call special events for the ECHL, including traveling to the easternmost point in North America, St. John's, Newfoundland, for the 2019 Kelly Cup Finals.
3 All-Star games I've done so far in my career, and almost 1,300 ECHL games. It's kind of a little bit surreal.
Though there are perks with being so involved with the team, game days can be quite long for a broadcaster.
Typical game day for me is probably a good 12 to 14-hour workday.
Ultimately, broadcasters aspire to call games at as high of a level as possible. Melzak has had multiple opportunities to call American Hockey League games, just a step below the NHL.
The last couple of years I've gotten a chance to fill in a couple times at the American Hockey League levels. It's amazing and surreal, I think, is probably the best word.
Melzak credits his success to calling as many games as possible early on in his career, whatever sport it may have been. Melzak also told me that alongside his over 1,300 ECHL games, he's called over 700 professional baseball games, giving him over 2,000 professional sporting events on his resume. Live in the newsroom, I'm Zeke Fravor, UT 10 Sports.
Thank you, Zeke. Behind the scenes, he loves listening to Rihanna and has had overall quite the college journey. It's now officially time to dive into why Cedric Milner Jr., also known as Seth, has had such a unique journey.
Here's Cam Palesi into the game for Valpo. And that's what Seth Milner can do. I had in my notes from the end of last season, throws down dunks.
While Seth Milner is always flying high above the rim, he always seems to find the perfect landing spot.
Continuously working on defense and ball handling and obviously three-point shooting, but I think I'm just a versatile guy.
Before landing at the University of Toledo, Milner was a student athlete at Cleveland State University along with Northwest Florida State College, both 1 year apiece.
I think my freshman year, I learned how to play college basketball because every freshman coming straight out of high school, it's an immediate shock as soon as you step first on campus. Everybody wants to show their game. Everybody wants to prove something.
However, destiny proved he was meant to finish his last 2 years of college as a Toledo Rocket. Milner now plans to make a push towards the NBA, as basketball has always been a huge passion that runs in his family.
I've been in situations and I've been in places where coaches, can kind of not care about you a little bit, and I know here that we're loved. I know here that we're taken care of. Basketball has literally been my whole life, and God willing, I stay healthy. I can just play this until I can't no more.
Cedric overall believes his NBA draft stock can take a huge leap forward by helping the Rockets get to the NCAA tournament, a goal he and the Rockets are striving towards as we speak. Milner's favorite player growing up was also Kobe Bryant.
That's it for sports.
While turkey is a given centerpiece for Thanksgiving dinner,
Each state differs in its preferred side dish. I love mac and cheese. What can I say?
mashed potatoes for me.
It's all overwhelming for me. It all looks so good.
I like sweet potatoes.
That's it for UT10 News.
Remember, you can catch newscast replays on YouTube, and don't forget to follow us on social media.
And listen to 88.3 WXUT FM Saturday mornings at 7:45 for the UT10 Weekly News Update. We're off next week for Thanksgiving, but we'll see you again on December 1st.